Welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Today we're looking at a paper trending on X, published on February 12, 2026, exactly 1 week ago. It proposes a novel framework for AI agents that moves beyond brittle heuristics to include complex organizational dynamics like authority, responsibility, and trust. The paper is titled Intelligent AI Delegation. And, as we'll see later, the pillars of this framework provide a really impressive blueprint for safe and scalable multi-agent economies. Table 1 explicitly maps the 5 framework pillars to their technical implementations. The first pillar, dynamic assessment, requires granular inference of an agent state, which the authors achieve through specific protocols for task decomposition and assignment. Moving down the list, structural transparency ensures auditability by combining real-time monitoring with verifiable completion standards. Finally, the systemic resilience pillar focuses on preventing failures, relying on strict security measures and permission handling to keep the delegation chain safe. So Figure 1 visualizes the actual workflow for this delegation process, split into 2 main stages. In the upper task decomposition phase, the system first analyzes attributes like complexity, crucially checking if the outcome is verifiable before proceeding. If it is, the flow moves to delegatee identification, deciding between a human or an AI agent based on speed and cost. Finally, the lower section covers task assignment, where the system negotiates terms through a registry or market, locking everything into a smart contract. While Figure 1 outlined the initial setup, Figure 2 demonstrates how the system adapts when environmental conditions shift during execution. The process begins on the left with triggers, such as external security alerts or internal performance drops that activate the monitoring loop. Next, the flow enters the central response evaluation phase, where the system systematically checks if an issue is reversible or requires urgent attention. Finally, the response execution block on the right determines the solution, potentially rerouting the task through a market auction or escalating it to a human if the failure is irreversible. Well, since monitoring is central to that response loop, Table 2 breaks down the specific approaches available to the delegator. The authors contrast lightweight methods, like simple outcome validation, with intensive ones that track the entire process. For example, under the transparency dimension, a system might treat the agent as a black box, or insist on a white box inspection of internal reasoning. Crucially, the privacy row highlights that intensive monitoring can use cryptographic zero-knowledge proofs to verify correctness without revealing private data. Alright, once monitoring data is collected, it needs to be stored meaningfully, so Table 3 outlines 3 models for implementing agent reputation. The first, an immutable ledger, records outcomes on a tamper-proof blockchain to prevent history rewriting, though the authors note this risks agents gaming the system with easy tasks. Moving to the second row, the Web of Trust model replaces generic scores with specific verifiable credentials, allowing for precise delegation based on proven expertise. Finally, behavioral metrics analyze the execution process itself, checking reasoning traces to ensure that how a task was completed meets safety standards. Wrapping up, 2 major implications stand out from this work. First, the danger of the moral crumple zone, where humans might face liability for AI actions they cannot truly control. Second, the authors warn of the paradox of automation, where overdelegation leads to human de-skilling. To counter this, they propose curriculum-aware routing to ensure humans stay in the loop and maintain expertise. That is it for this episode of the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Thanks for listening.